Hello, this is David Wilcoxon. In this video, I discuss the conspiracy theories regarding the Charlie Kirk shooting event. The term conspiracy theory was created by the CIA to dismiss truthers who were pointing out problems with the official narrative about the JFK assassination that was also contrived and blamed on a lone gunman, which has been proven false. In the Charlie Kirk official narrative is bogus video, I show the conspiracies of our leaders and media which have misled Americans in regard to what really happened to Charlie. Some people said that my explanation is outlandish and absurd, but I think that believing the nonsensical official narrative is absurd. In this video, I'll provide more insight into the takedown. Jason Goodman of the Crowdsource the Truth YouTube channel says Charlie was shot from behind. Using a better quality video, he says that these three equally spaced dots, so here, here, and here, correlate with the speed of a bullet that was shot out of a low muzzle velocity device such as an air gun. It's an interesting premise, but in a world of deception, it's hard to know who to believe. For all we know, the dots were added into the images so that this explanation makes the shooting seem real. And I'll put a link to that video in the video description. Another video showed that at the time of the gunshot sound, a flash appeared from a window in a building behind the stage to Charlie's right. That would align with him being shot from behind. But again, the flash could have been added to the video. I mention these things because it seems like narratives are being made to justify that Charlie was hit by a bullet. But when taking all the evidence into consideration, it seems like the hit was faked. In my previous video, I mentioned that the camera at the back of the tent was taken down by a Turning Point USA worker 10 minutes after Charlie was shot. He removed the memory card and put it in his pocket, which is really odd, as it should have been a crime scene. Candace Owens used to work at Turning Point USA, so she contacted them to identify the employee. She connected with him, and he said that he took the memory card to help with the investigation, but then he didn't give it to the investigators, which is very deceptive. Candace says that she convinced him to let her see the footage, and she says that there was nothing gory, meaning no exit wound or blood. And that may be true, especially if he wasn't really shot. But Candace is a gatekeeper who may be hiding evidence, as the footage might have vital information showing that Charlie was alive on the ground and that the security team wasn't really treating him for a gunshot wound. In my previous video, I showed that none of them had blood on their hands, which seems peculiar since they were supposed to be working to stop the bleeding. So why haven't the investigators asked for the memory card from that camera? Just behind the tent, to Charlie's right, there were two photographers. At the time of the hit, one was pointing a video camera, right here, the opposite way of Charlie, seemingly towards the other man, which is odd, as you would think that he would be filming Charlie and the audience. The other man, right here, was pointing his camera at Charlie. His large build seems odd for a photographer at a political rally, and he looked militant. It could have been a camera gun, as we see here. So there's what looks like the camera, got the big lens, covers over this right here. To onlookers, it appears like a normal camera setup. The brace would be hidden by his arm, and the grip covered by his hand, as it appears to be supporting the camera underneath. When the shot was heard, neither of the two photographers jumped at a surprise. Were they expecting it, as the signal was made by the security guard in black? The two photographers didn't look to Charlie to see if he was okay, and they didn't hurry to get away from more gunfire. Instead, they just casually walked away from the scene, which is strange. Someone pointed out that there seemed to be a white spot in front of the camera around the time of the sound of the shot, saying that it might be a bullet being fired, but it may have been a reflection on the lens or CGI. In my first video about Charlie, I pointed out the man in tan in front who seemed to trigger something at the same time as the shot was heard and Charlie was hit. I pointed out the bodyguard in black who did some odd things before and after Charlie was shot. And the two cameramen didn't act normal either. It's possible that their role was to do sketchy things so that people point to them, which may be a diversion to hide that Charlie's death was faked and there was no shooter. The camera that was positioned to the left of Charlie would have the best footage to provide more intel about being hit with a bullet. It looks like a high-quality camera, so it would have high-resolution video to see details. But I've not seen that investigators have asked for the video, which is really peculiar. Given the angle of this camera, which is pointing towards Charlie's left side, it makes me wonder if it could have been a holographic projector. Normally, a screen is used for holographic imaging, but in this case, they weren't projecting Charlie, but may have used holographic imaging to enhance the appearance of blood coming out of his body. A blood squib could have been the primary illusion and the holographic imaging secondary. I watched quite a few videos of Charlie Kirk at TPUSA debates at universities, and typically he wore a black shirt, but on this day it was white, which provides a better backdrop if holographic imaging was used. At normal speed, the blood rushing out seems fairly normal, but when you watch videos in slow motion, you see problems. I'm not going to show it as it may cause the video to get flagged, but you can probably still find one on YouTube or Rumble. Blood went towards the sleeve of his white shirt, but then in later frames, the blood is not seen on the sleeve. A cotton shirt would have soaked it up, so that's problematic. Secondly, the blood poured out in a gush, like a blood squib was used, not pulsing with the next heartbeat. The men who rushed over to Charlie did not act like there would be another incoming shot. A normal reaction would be to stay below the table in front, so that the shooter wouldn't see where they are, but instead, they remained very visible, as we can see here. So here's the table, but they're way above it, looking down on Charlie. So they're not looking to see if a shooter's out there, and they're not considering the possibility that a second or third or fourth shot might come in. That makes it seem like they knew that there wouldn't be more shots fired, or that no shots were fired, making the event seem faked. When Charlie's team was gathered around him, Charlie raised his hand in the air, as we see here. That's weird because his friend, Frank Turek, said that Charlie died instantly, so it doesn't make sense that he was still alive to raise his arm. But it makes sense if his death was faked. So why would they fake Charlie's death? A great magician wants to pull off the biggest tricks through sleight of hand to deceive and amaze their audience. The same is true of people who stage false flag events. They could have used a professional marksman to shoot Charlie at the same time that the patsy was supposedly on the roof of the university building, but there's not much challenge with that trick. It's a next level trick to stage a fake death in front of a live audience and on video to a worldwide audience, which can be replayed to analyze the trick. So why would Charlie go along with this event being faked? Obviously, I don't know for certain, but I'll provide some insight. The Jewish influence on him was very strong, so it's possible that he was blackmailed into going along with the fakery, as the other option is to really be killed, and they could have threatened his family as well. Tens of thousands of applications have reportedly been made by schools to have Turning Point USA programs, so the organization is growing much faster without him. Another option is that he was a controlled asset, playing his role. Jesuits and Freemasons take on roles to mislead others, to set up narratives, and to promote an agenda. I'll talk about that agenda in another video. Given the fakery of the official narrative, which I showed in the first video, I don't think that there's any way that they will let this case against Tyler Robinson go to trial, as the fakery and deception would be exposed. That means that they may remove Tyler so that there is no trial, and the media has already portrayed him as suicidal. People have asked, was the Israeli Mossad involved? Charlie supported Israel, but in the last few months, he made statements against the leaders. He said that the October 7 attack was allowed to take place to allow Israel justification for attacks on Gaza. He said that Epstein was an Israeli Mossad agent. Charlie was warned not to platform pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel people like Dave Smith, but he did anyway, and Dave Smith exposed many of their crimes. Charlie partnered with people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, who are exposing the crimes of Israeli leaders. Charlie even said that Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical open borders, neoliberal quasi-Marxist policies. A month before the Charlie Kirk event, billionaire pro-Israel moneyman Bill Ackman reportedly arranged an intervention in the Hamptons, during which sources say that he and others hammered Kirk for the conservative leader's growing criticism of Israeli influence in Washington. Kirk came away fretting about what seemed like blackmail. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly offered to organize a massive infusion of pro-Israel money into Turning Point USA, and Kirk refused. Kirk also allegedly rejected an offer Netanyahu delivered 2 weeks before his death to meet with him in Jerusalem. The night before the hit, Charlie reportedly met with Israeli National Rabbi Pesach Bokicki to discuss how to defend Israel effectively on campus. The rabbi states that Charlie was in a combative mood. People close to Charlie said that he was scared of reactions from Israel, which should have meant a larger security presence. The first person to comment publicly was Netanyahu, who is a very busy person, and the Israel media was the first to report the shooting. That's kind of odd. It appears that Charlie's security team was Israeli, as he said to Bill Maher in an interview, that the Israeli bodyguards are the best. Someone suggested that Israel wanted to silence him, so the CIA faked the shooting to take him into a witness protection program. That's an interesting premise. In the sorcery in Revelation 18:23 and the magicians in Revelation 18:23 videos, I show that Revelation 18:23 points to the great men of the earth, deceiving people with their pharmaceuticals and their sorcery. Those who serve the agenda of the god of this world, Lucifer, use this sorcery that's found in the Kabbalah to mislead people via divination. They use numerology, symbols, and signs to cast their spells. They embed these things into events as a sign for those with eyes to see. There were Freemasonry signs with this event. First of all, Utah is a hotbed of Freemasons, as Mormon leadership is fundamentally Freemason. There's a beehive on the Utah state flag, which is a Masonic symbol. During false flag events, in which Freemasons play a role, they leave clues that it was a Freemason operation. Freemasons see the numbers and know that it was a contrived event, while most people don't see the connection. The Charlie Kirk event took place 322 weeks after the Charlie Kirk show began. So from July 7, 2019 to Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 is 322 weeks. Why is that significant? Because 322 is the number which is associated with the evil Skull and Bones society, as it's connected with their pursuit of knowledge, which comes from the god of this world and his fallen angels. So we see that symbol here with the skull and the crossbones and 322. The number 322 is based on Genesis 3:22. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Charlie was shot at 12:23, which has 322 backwards. Kash Patel and the media made it a point to proclaim that the supposed shooter was captured exactly 33 hours after the shooting. So we see that in the NPR news headline and a BBC news headline. So instead of saying he was captured on the second day or in 2 days, they specifically said 33 hours. 33 is one of their top signs, as it represents the 33rd degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. The hats on the table in front of Charlie had the number 47 on them, referring to the 47th president term of Donald Trump. Recalling that the evil ones love their numerology, 4 plus 7 is 11. 3 hats side by side means 11 times 3, which is 33. The enemy communicates via symbols. When you understand them, you can see the truth about events. Interestingly, at the Charlie Kirk memorial service, Donald J. Trump said, "I got to know Charlie very well and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder." That's an interesting choice of words given the title of master builder is used for Freemasons. The evil ones sometimes foretell their plans ahead of time via predictive programming. In the 1998 movie Snake Eyes, politician Charles Kirkland was publicly shot in the neck and died reportedly on September 10th. Political activist Charlie Kirk was publicly shot in the neck on 9/10. In the movie, heavyweight boxing champion Lincoln the Executioner Tyler was in the boxing ring during a championship match when he faked being knocked out, which created a distraction while the hit on the politician took place. And Tyler is the name of the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk. The movie release image features Nicolas Cage with a hand sign which is associated with Freemasonry. And I've seen a couple images of Charlie Kirk making that same hand sign, including the cover image for this video. 2025 is the year of the snake, according to the Chinese zodiac, aligning with the movie title. Interestingly, the tagline of the movie is, "Believe everything except your eyes." 13 years ago, Erica was featured in a music video by Emerson Drive called "She's My Kind of Crazy," which is set in Las Vegas, Sin City. The premise is that she and her man were country folk who drove to Las Vegas to get married, which they did at a drive-through wedding chapel with an Elvis impersonator officiating the ceremony. Erica wanted to go on a zip line at the Soar over Fremont Street experience, which is about 4 blocks long. The area is covered by a canopy that has graphics displayed on it. The camera followed her down the zip line, but a camera on the ground captured Erica, so here's Erica right here, as she passed by the numbers 9/10. The Charlie Kirk false flag event was on 9/10. What are the odds that the camera would be placed below the 9/10 graphic to capture Erica when she goes underneath of it? The name Fremont was also displayed at the time, which interestingly is a city in Utah. The video is 3 minutes and 22 seconds long, seemingly pointing to Skull and Bone Society numerology of 322. 1010 was also shown in that video. Hopefully, it doesn't point to something happening on October 10th. In the behind the scenes of the "She's My Kinda Crazy" video, it was revealed that the guy that Erica married in the video is named Tyler, which is the same name as Charlie Kirk's supposed shooter. You can dismiss this kind of information as a conspiracy theory, but the correlation of the Snake Eyes movie and the "She's My Kinda Crazy" video to the Charlie Kirk event is uncanny. The next oddity is that FBI Director Kash Patel said at a press conference about the Charlie Kirk investigation, "To my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother, we have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla." That term can refer to a Nordic belief that warriors are gathered to a place called Valhalla, which is an odd reference about a Christian. But there's a very different meaning to Valhalla that brings more insight. On one of the pictures that the FBI put out about Tyler Robinson, his computer screen has an image of Goat Island in New Zealand. So that's right here. And Goat Island has a retreat called Valhalla. These things are not by chance. Rather, the enemy leaves clues for people who have eyes to see. The term Valhalla can refer to the U.S. Marshals Federal Witness Protection Program. There's a movie company called Valhalla Motion Pictures, which released a movie called Dead Man on Campus. What are the odds? It's really interesting that that movie was released in 1998, as that's the same year that the predictive programming movie Snake Eyes was released. Valhalla Motion Pictures is currently developing a film titled Nameless, which is set in a top-secret facility operated by the U.S. Marshals Federal Witness Protection Program, with facilities that house witnesses who are awaiting new identities. Again, what are the odds that the same film company that published Dead Man on Campus is currently working on a movie about people who are being hidden as they await a new identity? You can call all of that coincidence, but the enemy foretells their plans through movies and TV shows. It's possible that this event was faked through sorcery, a blood pouch, and maybe even holographic technology, and that Charlie Kirk is in the Federal Witness Protection Program. Or Charlie was shot by someone else. Either way, the government and the media are misleading you. Watch the Charlie Kirk official narrative is bogus video to see the fakery. In the next video, I'll take up Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong challenge to show problems with what he and Turning Point USA have promoted, as it's part of an ecumenical agenda. If this kind of information benefits you, please like the video, comment, and share it with others, as this helps get it ranked so that others will see the explanations. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified about new videos.